our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab.
Video from WFAA in Texas. Tragedy at a track meet. A teenage football life cut short. His family says he died in his twin brother's arms. The suspect, according to police, was a fellow high school athlete who allegedly brought a knife to a track meet and changed so many lives, allegedly, in the course of doing so. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Welcome back to the channel, family. Like, comment, share. Let's get into it. Commentary after.
It is hard to make sense of this story, and just wait until I tell you what the suspect in this case reportedly has told police about an alleged murder that happened in the middle of the week at a high school track meet in the middle of the day in Texas. This is Austin Metcalf. His family says he died in his twin brother's arms after he was stabbed at this track meet in Frisco, Texas, near Dallas. He was 17 years old, and his future on the field and in life was so bright. He was a junior at Memorial High School. He played football there. His dad says last season he was team MVP, and he had a 4.0 GPA in the classroom. According to his ex account, he was getting looks to play at the next level and by some big schools. Here he is at a recruiting event for the Arkansas Razorbacks. They play in the SEC. If you know college football, that is as big as it gets. He was a multi-sport athlete, and he was also on his high school's track team, which is who he was competing for on April 2nd at this stadium in his hometown of Frisco, about 40 minutes from Dallas. And if you've ever run track, you know these meets, there's a lot of downtime in between the events. Each team typically has its own spot to hang out, and Austin was reportedly under a tent with his teammates when rain started falling on Wednesday. KXAS TV in Dallas has the police report that states that the suspect, who goes to a different high school, was under Metcalf's team's tent, and he was told to move. Witnesses say the suspect then unzipped a bag, he reaches in and told Metcalf, quote, "Touch me and see what happens." That's when witnesses say Austin Metcalf got up and grabbed the suspect, who then allegedly took out a knife and stabbed Austin in the chest. Austin's twin brother told WFAA TV this.
And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest.
Metcalf's family says that Austin died in his brother's arms. Here's a picture of the boys with their dad. This is the suspect. His name is Karmelo Anthony. He is facing a charge of murder. He is being held on a million.
I want you to notice the video contrast of how they pick his custody picture, but they pick the other. Just pay attention to the contrast.
$1 million bond. Even though I'm using the term alleged in this story because all defendants, all suspects are innocent until proven guilty, Anthony reportedly is not using that term. He told police, quote, "I'm not alleged, I did it." That is according to the arrest warrant obtained by KXAS TV. And according to the warrant, Anthony appears to think that he was in the right for allegedly killing Metcalf, claiming self-defense. We'll get into why his self-defense argument may not work in court in just a moment.
Karmelo Anthony, class of 2025, Centennial High School, Frisco, Texas.
Anthony was also a football player. This was him mic'd up for a tournament that was posted on YouTube, and he linked to it on his X account. Anthony's high school was just about 7 miles from where Metcalf went to high school. It appears up until Wednesday, August 2nd, Anthony had somewhat of a bright future as well, as social media shows that he was getting offers to play college football. At least his social media claimed that. Like these Division III schools in Texas and Louisiana, and this small school in Kansas. On Huddle, which is a social media site for football recruits, he wrote, quote, "God has shown you the right path, just take it." That was in his bio. Now he's facing the possibility of never being on a football field again, or frankly being a free person ever again, because he is charged with murder. We saw a user write to him on X saying, quote, "Ruined your whole future, dude." Now, if the allegations are true, if he's convicted, frankly, the only future that truly matters in this story is that of Austin Metcalf, a future that was ended, and the future of his family and how they heal after what happened at this track meet on Wednesday this week. Austin's dad has a GoFundMe page. It has raised nearly $200,000. At the time of this recording, the page includes pictures of Austin, his dad, and his twin brother from when they were young. His dad writes, quote, "He was a leader of men. His smile would light up the room. His passion for football was unbelievable." And it's hard not to get emotional looking at this picture of a dad and his sons just fishing, looking out at the water at a pond, and to think of everything that was taken away by an alleged decision this week. On that GoFundMe page, his dad finishes by saying, quote, "We will all remember him for the way he impacted others' lives. I love you forever, son. It's not goodbye. It's see you later. God will take care of us till we meet again. R.I.P. Love, Dad." Austin's last post on social media was on March 31st. He wrote on X, quote, "Faith that God got me and my work will pay off." Join us now to talk about this case. It certainly has a lot of people talking is trial attorney Bridget Williams, who joins us from Dallas, Texas. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. I know that this has been headline news in your city since it happened earlier this week. At this point, what are some of the questions that you have based off the information that we've been able to get so far?
Well, one, thank you.
Well, before we continue, right, the other kid has a completely different account and spectators saying something completely different than the narrative that they're trying to paint this other kid as, which is not uncommon, right? So it has already been said that those two twins were bullies, and that the day before that they already assaulted the kid, the same kid. Now, not justifying him for doing what he did. Everybody has their reasons, but you can't predict how somebody's going to respond when they're physically threatened. So if this situation already occurred and they've been known to do this, and then he tells you not to touch him or else, and you touch him or else, regardless of the situation, bro, you can have a pencil, anything. If I have a pencil and I say, yo, man, you touch me again, I'm going to poke you with this, and you touch me again and I poke you, why are you surprised? We're going to play a little bit of this, and then I'm going to go to another video that give you a different contrast and how there's a completely different story, especially in how the media likes to convey the message about what happened. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's let it play out a little bit.
Thank you so much for having me. I would say some of the questions that are running through my mind is just like, what is it that caused such a dispute to happen in the first place? What is it that could have caused it to have led to this in the first place? And also,
they are known bullies. They've already talking about it down there. These are known bullies that already had an altercation with him a day prior. So let's get this understood. They are not innocent. All right? That doesn't mean he deserved to die, but they are not innocent in this situation.
So I feel like there needs to be some type of just education for individuals for what is it that is self-defense? What is it that it really means for self-defense? Because in a situation like this escalated so quickly from one person thinking that he was defending himself, and in fact, he wasn't.
Bridget, you bring up a good point, because I think it can be a very delicate part of these conversations and stories we cover to say that there was more than one life that was damaged in events like this, because there's nothing worse than what the Metcalf family went through. They will never see their son ever again. And then you look at this suspect, and you know, there's questions about why you would even bring a knife to a track meet or anything like that. But how do you balance that? And maybe it isn't even balancing it. I struggle with it, to say, you know, the idea that Karmelo Anthony, he had college offers to go play football, and then this decision on this day, April 2nd, at a track meet over something that probably at the end of the day never mattered at all. He likely could spend the rest of his life behind bars, and his family, who might have thought that they had a future college football player in their house, now very well may end up, for the majority of their lives, having to go visit him in a prison.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Something like this that just evolved and snowballed, that's what it seems like to me, snowballed over something that may have just been some high school students getting into some type of disagreement. And so the issue is that once that disagreement again begins to snowball, what is appropriate for self-defense? Whenever we're into just a oral disagreement, then that transfers over to a physical disagreement. How does it transfer then to a knife?
I completely agree with that, like I said, so don't misconstrue my message. I don't think that the cause of what happened between him and the other boy caused for him to grab a knife. But then again, you don't know what happened the day before. You don't know how scared somebody is, man. You can't put your hands on people. So I'm not saying that he deserved it. What I'm saying is you cannot tell somebody how they're going to respond to something that you will respond different to, is what I'm trying to say. So there are certain people you can play with like that. Certain people you can push around like that. There are certain people that you just can't. You know, some people will take it from 0 to 100. Me, I'm going to beat you up. You know, that's my mindset. That's most people's mindset. But then you have some people where it's like, yo, you're not going to put your hands on me. I'm going to take you and I off of here. So, again, you know, he said he did it. Obviously, he did it. But at the same time, they don't get to just walk scot-free and be victimless from this when they were complicit. You cannot control how someone responds to that. You can't. You know, so I just disagree with how the media is trying to make it look. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this young man deserved to die. Nobody deserved to die, especially over some small issue like that. But you can't predict or dictate how certain people respond. You just can't. This is why you leave people alone. You know what I mean? So I'm going to play a little bit more, then I'm going to switch to the other video. I ain't going to let it go too long.
And so, and under Texas law, you have to provide equal or lesser value, generally, so force, whenever we're talking about self-defense. Is it reasonable and is it proportionate to that of what the perpetrator initiated before? Because in this situation, the suspect is stating he told the other person pretty much, don't touch me. And that person did, in fact, touch him, and then he pulled out a knife. So yes, maybe there was some issues there where we talked about physical altercations, but that doesn't give you the right or the responsibility to respond back with a knife. It has to be reasonable and proportionate.
How do, once you get to a trial portion, actually be able to figure that out? Of, you know, you'll have what he will say, and let's say if he goes with the self-defense argument when we get to that point.
I'm going to pause it there. I'm going to switch to the other video, and we're going to get right to it. So, hold on. Give me a few seconds. 5, 4, and excuse my language. I'm not, excuse the language of this video. I haven't verified anything. I just saw it yesterday, and it gives a completely different contrast than what the mainstream media is trying to show. So, shouts out to this channel. Let's get into it.
Before I knew his name. No, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So yeah. That's just what I saw. And I tried to help him, but
it was just senseless.
It was really senseless. Really, I don't know why a person would do that to someone just over that little argument. It's just crazy in this world nowadays how people just up and do that. Like that man has a family. That man has people that care about them all the time, and he did everything for our family too. He was a strong man. He was a strong kid.
And look, first of all, rest in peace to that young man. But on this channel, we hold racist Caucasian people accountable. His brother just told us the truth. Listen again. Run the tape.
And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So yeah. That's just what I saw. And I mean, I try to help him, but
It was just senseless.
His twin brother attacked first. Make that make sense. And notice he said, I'm not going to talk about the rest. Well, guess what, partner? I'm going to talk about the rest, because racist Caucasian people, they always love to attack our people and hide their hands, attack our people and cry wolf. But now on this channel, we let nothing slide. So let's get right into this article so I can show y'all how cold the game really is. And this article is by the New York Post. It was published April 4th, 2025 at 9:36 a.m. The chilling words teen told cops after allegedly stabbing Texas football star Austin Metcalf, who died in twin brother's arms. And notice how they use certain words. He died in his twin brother's arms, but they won't tell you the truth, but they'll play with your mind. They'll play psychological games with our minds to make us feel sorry. But let's carry on. The teenager accused of fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf and leaving him to die in his twin brother's arms at a high school track meet allegedly admitted to the senseless unaliving, but claimed it was in self-defense. I'm not alleged. I did it, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony chillingly told police in Frisco, Texas, as he was being arrested at Kirkendall Stadium. The horrific stabbing was sparked when Anthony, who was sitting under another team's pop-up tent as it rained Wednesday morning, was asked by Metcalf to move, and Anthony refused. Anthony then unzipped a bag, reached inside, and told Metcalf, whom he had never met before, "Touch me and see what happens," a witness told police. And look, the brother already told us what happened, but you have to use your common sense. No young black man that's captain of the football team that has a 4.0 is going to randomly attack another young Caucasian man. It's not happening. He didn't do that for no reason.
Notice the difference between the picture they could have showed versus the picture they wanted to show on the news, okay? And then the picture that they showed of the other kid. Let's continue.
Then I stepped back and said, wait, what's the race demographic in Frisco, Texas? Check this out. 51.2 Caucasian people, 8.6 black people. You might as well say 91.4% Caucasian people, because everyone else, especially in Texas, they already want to be Caucasian. The Hispanics, the Asian, they all want to be Caucasian people. So 8.6 black people, it tell me everything I need to know about Frisco, Texas. He's not going to get a fair trial. Of course, his bond going to be set at $1 million because it's only 8.6 black people in Frisco, Texas. And tell me this, why would the article say whom he's never met before? So I said, wait, let me go further down the rabbit hole. So I went over to Facebook and everything started to make sense. Check this out. And shout out to Kevin Hayes. I think he's a track coach in Texas, and he knew Karmelo Anthony. The truth about Karmelo, let's set the record straight. Enough with the misinformation. Let's talk about facts. Number one, it's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. Karmelo had friends there. He wasn't trespassing or looking for trouble. And if you ran track, you already know we always go to everybody else's tent. That's common. Number two, the claim that one of the twins had never seen Karmelo before, a blatant lie. Number three, no student has the right to remove another student from a school-owned tent. The school owns the tent, not the twins. Number four, Karmelo is a track athlete. The twins are not. He wasn't expecting to see them there.
See, they weren't even supposed to be there. But I'm going to let it continue. Let's go.
I was talking like the twins was running track and Karmelo did nothing. No, he ran track. The twins was just there bullying people. And then he says, now here's what they don't want you to know. The twins didn't just ask him to leave. They tried to jump him. Before attacking him, they tried to take his belongings. They broke his phone and stomped on it. The twins are known bullies. So ask yourself, if two 200-plus pound attackers came at your child, what would you expect them to do? And again, shout out to Kevin Hayes for that information. But you see the games that the media plays on our people. That's the reason why his brother said, I'm not going to tell the rest. Of course, you're not going to tell the rest of the story because you're going to tell on yourself. And then the media is so cold with it. They showed Karmelo Anthony holding the gun, but they never showed the twins holding a gun. And you got to think about it. In Texas, every family has guns. It's like a cell phone. It's common. So for you to judge, for everybody to judge Karmelo Anthony holding that gun, but not to judge those twins holding that gun, make it make sense. But no one's going to judge them right because they have on hunting gear. That means nothing. Keep the same goddamn energy. And then Kevin Hayes said something that was very important. He said these twins are known bullies. So you have to go back to the past. In these mostly Caucasian towns where it's a lot of Caucasian people and less black people, what do they known for? What are they known for throughout history doing to our people? Let's start with the KKK. They love taking advantage of our people when we buy ourselves. If it's a group of us, they don't attack. They have to catch you by themselves because, they are cowards. And see me, I can give you examples. I don't just talk. Number one, we have Robert Brooks up.
And when he said that, he's specifically talking about the racist one. So don't bunch that all. I know he's all, bro talking a little fast, but he's talking about, specifically. At least that's what I think. Don't take my word for it.
State New York, 18 correctional officers handcuffed him and unalived him. Number two, we have Ronald Green from Louisiana. 5 Louisiana troopers handcuffed him and unalived him. Number three, we have Messiah Nantwi, 15 New York, upstate New York correctional officers handcuffed him and unalived him. You even have the twins that was unalived, that was murdered in those Georgia mountains. And a volunteer firefighter took pictures. They arrested him for a few hours and released him. No questions about.
Keep it a buck. He did it. You can see the evil in his face, bro. You can see it. You can feel it. He did it.
Did he do it or not? No outrage. Where is the same outrage for those twins in Georgia, in those mountains, in that sundown town? Make it make sense. And look, I can go on and on. It's in their blood to attack our people and hide their hands. It's in their blood to attack our people and cry wolf. But not this time. They learned a valuable lesson. Karmelo Anthony just lost his best friend. You don't know what people going through. Don't touch people. Don't lay your hand on people. And for the people that saying why he had a knife with him, it's Texas, dog. Either people got guns or they carrying knives. A lot of men, especially in the South, everybody carries pocket knives. We don't know what kind of knife he had. A lot of men, a lot of young men carry knives. It's just, the way of life. If you're from the North or West Coast, you probably don't understand that. But in the South, you either got a gun or you got a knife with you, or you got both. Tell me I'm lying. And look, like I said earlier, it's only 8.6% black people in Frisco, Texas. So, of course, he's not going to get a fair trial. Of course, they're going to set his bond at $1 million. So I'm going to put in the description, I'm going to put the link to the real GoFundMe account for his parents, because we have to start standing up for our people. We can no longer let the mainstream media get away with lies, get away with misinformation. So to Karmelo Anthony's parents, I'm sorry y'all have to go through this. We will be by your side. Free Karmelo Anthony. I'm out.
Okay, so there you have it, man. You can say what you want to say and this and that. Don't come in here with that bias shit. We not doing that. We looking at it like this, right? Just look at it like this. That's 2 lives shattered, pretty much, right? You got to listen to the facts, okay? The news told you the version that they always want to tell you. They always want to clean it up for certain people. But then for us, they want to try to demonize. They could have picked a completely different picture than this one. They knew they know what they're doing when they're crafting these stories, bro. But anyway, they weren't even on the track team, but they were at the track. He already broke. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into all that. Main thing I'm trying to say is, right, at the end of the day, regardless of race, regardless of location, regardless of who was supposed to be where, okay, keep your hands to yourself. That is one thing fundamentally that I teach my kids. Keep your hands to yourself. The moment somebody put their hands on you, it's fair game. I don't agree with how he responded, but again, you don't know what that boy has been through. You don't know what what kind of interactions they've had before. You don't know. This is why you have to leave people alone. This is why you have to leave people alone. Okay? It's unfortunate that someone had to lose but this not the first time I done seen stuff like this before. I done seen there's a bunch of people locked up right now just for defending themselves. So we can't pick and choose when the narrative fits one kind of people, but it don't fit somebody else. We can't pick and choose, right? I was taught growing up, obviously you take a head-on fight. I'm going to always fight my way out of everything. It's more than, the person bigger than you or whatever, way bigger than you, older than you, stronger than you. You can't beat them. You know what my dad told me? Grab a rock and knock him in the head. It ain't going to be fair. So don't make it fair. You can't put a rule on how somebody responds. This is exactly why we're taught to keep your hands to yourself. You don't know what kind of day people are having. You don't know what scares them. I could look like I'm not scared of nothing and I'm scared of everything. Leave people alone. So I just wanted to show the completely different contrast and the actual grassroots stories of some people that were there. Okay? And the completely different account and the different narrative that the news is trying to portray versus what local people are saying, people that were there, spectators. So don't come and be biased, bro, because this is a no-fly zone for that shit. I'm gonna tell you right now, you either be transparent about your shit or you can kick rocks. It's no in between with that. We're not finna discuss. You're not finna come over here with your anti-black rhetoric. It's not flying on this channel, so don't even try it. I'm telling you right now, don't try it. You ain't gonna do nothing but look stupid. I don't wish that this young man lost his life. I don't wish that this young man is now in the situation he's in. We've all been boys. I've never been a bully, but I beat up a couple. Keep your hands to yourself. If I tell you not to touch me and you touch me, it's fair game. I don't agree with that, but you got to keep your hands to yourselves, so the media needs to be fair about how they painting these pictures, because you want to make this guy, they tried to make it seem like, oh, the dude was just a guy that was there. He wasn't supposed to be there. The twins were supposed to be there. And then he just randomly attacked them and stabbed them in the heart, when that's completely not the case. It's the opposite. They weren't supposed to be there. They're not on the track team. And they don't own the property that they forcibly tried to remove him from. So no, the only thing this kid is wrong for is, I would say, in my opinion, is stabbing him in the heart with a knife. That's it. Other than that, he was supposed to be there. He had a right to be there. He had a right to be underneath the tent. So keep your hands to yourself. At the end of the day, keep your hands to your fucking self. Teach your kids to keep their hands to their fucking self. Because I teach mine. Somebody touch you, you bust their ass. That's it. We ain't finna argue about it. We ain't finna go back and forth about it. This ain't even a white race versus black race thing. This is how the media is trying to portray and the story they're giving versus the factual story and the grassroots story that people are actually telling from people that were there. So stick to the facts. Like, comment, share. I'm going to see y'all in the next one.